Welcome back, everybody, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. In today's update, we will finish the game.
Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's nothing, Your Honor. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Inpax's suicide note.
Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that the suicide note is a forgery. What?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This note was not written by Miss Inpax herself. It is a fake.
Order! Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Inpax, then who wrote it?
We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corda. Mr. Corda? Well. It looks like Miss Inpax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard. However, Your Honor, even though this suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so the facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it.
That does sound very plausible.
This theory that On Guard has no idea that the suicide note was fake, something seems a little wrong with it. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. On Guard to not have known it was a fake. And here's how. Take that!
What is this little item called again?
A video camera, Your Honor. Well, a very small one, but...
Oh, that's right, a camera. Ah, you kids and your fancy toys nowadays.
Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. On Guard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim, isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. On Guard would have known that the victim had forged the note.
So that the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way.
Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. On Guard's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But, Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. On Guard monitored Mr. Corda 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. On Guard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth! Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place?
Order! Mr. Edgeworth, it looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave.
As I figured.
Huh? As you figured?
As I figured, it came down to this after all.
Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense.
When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. On Guard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle.
Well, I agree with you there.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time.
Oh, well, that's fine.
However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth's stuttering? This is not like him at all.
Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth?
This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of, who was it that hired Shelley to kill her to commit murder? That's impossible! Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty!
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness?
It's
Yes, go on, who is it?
The man himself, Mr. Shelley the Killer.
Oh, Mr. the Killer.
Wait! Shelley the Killer?
You mean the killer? I mean, the assassin?
Yes, Your Honor.
He's coming here to the witness stand?
Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission.
Well, Mr. Wright?
Yes?
Is this alright with you?
Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defense has no objections, Your Honor.
I wonder if it really is alright to do this.
Very well, then. The prosecution calls our witness to the stand. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness. Your name and your, occupation, please.
Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I'm a professional assassin.
I say! What is going on here?
Your Honor?
How can you remain so calm, and what is the meaning of this two-way radio?
Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about.
Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. the Killer himself.
Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are, in fact, Shelley the Killer.
I understand. Please wait a second.
I'm so hungry.
Maya! Maya! A voice! Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this?
The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley the Killer.
It looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events.
Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness, there is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else.
And what would that be?
At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corrida. Is this correct?
It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Corrida.
Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client.
Very well.
This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it, a bad dream.
Shelley the Killer. What is he gonna say?
There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client.
Mr. the Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us.
While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief.
You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me could comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix.
Hold it! We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your clients?
I don't think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means?
Sorry. Go on.
Well, it appears this is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright.
That's only because you don't know about my situation. Hold it! That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them.
It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of the prescribed role.
The role?
This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven.
You... Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty?
To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die?
No, I didn't say anything.
The judge had better watch himself. Hold it! We understand, so please tell us the name of your client.
I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do.
Ah, that egomaniacal...
It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you.
Somehow, that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. I don't really care about all the extra fluff, just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're gonna have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know? Hold it! The trust between you and your client.
I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome.
And that is why you're testifying in this manner?
This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the killer name so my clients can trust me.
But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust?
It has never happened before, but if it ever did...
Yes?
That person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly...
That's enough, please, no more.
Very well, it was only hypothetical anyway.
The trust between you and your client...
I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. These are the roles and duties to an assassin and his client are to carry out.
I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules.
A person who frames another is the worst kind of human.
And that's why you feel you could betray this person?
I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role.
Just my luck. An assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured?
Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic?
This case just keeps getting better and better.
If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed.
Everyone understands your point, I think, really.
In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek.
You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready.
Excellent. Now then, I do believe it is about time I revealed the name of my client. Don't you agree?
Hold it!
What is it?
Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name.
If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness! What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corda?
That person's name is... Adrian Andrews.
What?!
Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier.
Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews.
What? This can't be. On the phone earlier.
What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. DeKiller just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back?
I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer told him a different name. Matt Ongard, perhaps. I knew it.
This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. You, Shelley the Killer.
My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt Ongard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal.
Wow. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this.
Yeah.
The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. the Killer's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. Oh. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt Ongard is innocent.
I seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please, continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict.
Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately.
What now? With the way this is going, Ongard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya.
Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And Ongard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this?
Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant?
Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the Killer is certainly lying under oath.
It wasn't me! Listen, everyone, please! That testimony just now, it was all one big lie!
Miss Andrews.
The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, you have to believe me. It was a horrible, horrible lie.
But Mr. the Killer himself has testified. He has named you as his client.
No, that's not true.
Also, there is quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and button, donning the Nickel Samurai's costume.
That's...
You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste Impax was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead.
I know.
Mr. Wright! You know the truth? Tell them! Tell them the real story! Who the real killer is! Tell them! Please, help me!
Yes, I know the truth.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions.
I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do?
Phoenix.
I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty.
You are a lawyer.
I know. But Matt Ongard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than Ongard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten Ongard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust? I never thought about it until now. I trust him?
Yes, you do.
Mr. Wright, your opinion, please.
The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer.
Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright?
Right.
But, that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done.
I'm not done yet. To see through this witness's lies and find the truth, That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at, and I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur.
Very well. The trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. DeKiller.
Right away, Your Honor.
Has a verdict been reached?
Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more.
About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for?
Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about, usually done?
But what shall we have him testify about now?
Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail.
You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules.
This is a most unexpected turn of events for the 5th time now? However, this time everything has finally been revealed.
Just a second, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
We still have the cross-examination to do.
But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, the defense will question the witness. As if I have a choice here.
Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then
I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose.
I don't understand what's going on anymore.
That makes two of us. You don't tamper with evidence. Really? I highly doubt this. Objection! Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. DeKiller.
What is the meaning of that attitude?
When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Corrida had been murdered!
But how? How do you know that?
From this wine glass, Your Honor.
The glass?
Mr. DeKiller's supposed client thought Mr. Corrida had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim.
But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan?
That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind.
I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion?
Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon?
Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct?
I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Corrida's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all.
How strange.
Yes?
Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation?
Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Ah, sorry.
That sounded like an awfully weak objection to me.
Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken.
Very well.
Right now, I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items.
This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes.
So you physically met your client, huh?
That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Hold it! So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right?
Of course I did.
What was that? What was that brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details.
I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken a request by telephone or mail.
And why is that?
That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak with the client while looking them in the eye.
Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance?
Actually, no. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't my point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions.
What do you mean by that?
My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person?
I have already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. That's when I thought I could trust this person as a client.
It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance?
Yes! If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance.
Huh? Really?
If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony.
Very well. From the moment I saw him, I thought I could trust this person as a client.
Him, huh? That's too bad. Objection! I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time?
Yes, that is correct.
And that's when you thought he was trustworthy?
How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct.
I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale.
What?
Shelley the Killer? You have never met the real Adrian Andrews!
Why would you say that?
Because you made one very big slip-up. About her.
So what is the issue? What did you just say now? About her?
If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she's a woman!
Order in the court! Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this?
This witness testified to the following, that he always meets face-to-face with his clients when taking the request.
But he's never met Adrian Andrews in person.
Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. DeKeller's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews.
Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake?
I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor.
Her name?
Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name.
Yes, I see.
Unluckily for Mr. DeKiller, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender, and so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with.
What? What is going on? Shelley the killer. This court demands an explanation.
I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another.
So does that mean you remember something different now?
Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more.
I know he's just going to spit out more lies.
Very well, but this time please give us the truth, and nothing but the truth.